India under colonial rule. Okay. So basically, we are done with agriculture sector. We are done with industrial sector. We are done with demographic occupation. Now we are starting with the infrastructure. So, ma'am, first thing is that, ma'am, what is infrastructure, right? So, infrastructure is basically related to the construction of things like, for example, roads, railways, buildings, hospitals. All these comes under infrastructure, right? So, what was the infrastructural development? Like, how much infrastructure were developed during colonial period? Okay. So, some efforts were made by colonial regime to improve infrastructure facilities in India, such as railways, ports, water, transport, ports, and telegraph. But these efforts were spiced with selfish motive. Okay. So, what was basically they introduced railway, ports, and all that things, but they were introducing things, but they have their selfish motive. Okay. The real objective of British behind infrastructure development in India was to subserve means serving. See, for formality, I'm just saying that I'm doing it for you. But main motive is that it's my benefit. To serving means serving. I'm serving you. But serving, what I'm doing, I'm serving it to my country. Serve various colonial interests and not to provide basic amenities to the people. Okay. So first we'll give the heading infrastructure development in India under colonial regime. Just give the heading. Right?
Done.
Okay. So after that you'll write some efforts. You have to write some efforts, not entirely efforts. Some efforts were made by colonial regime to improve infrastructure facilities in India, such as railway, port, water transport, post, and telegraph. But these efforts were spiced with selfish motive. You have to use these words. Spiced with. Spiced with means mix up with selfish motive. They did it, but behind that there was a selfish motive of that. Okay, so till here you are going to write, and after that you will write hashtag what was the objective of Britishers behind infrastructure development in India. So you will write to serve various colonial interests and not to provide basic amenities to the people. Okay. So what you are going to write next, you are going to once you are done with this till here, you are going to write what was the real. I am just writing so what was the real motive, what was the real motive, or you can say real objective of Britishers behind infrastructure development in India. Okay. So just write the answer to subserve various colonial interests and not to provide basic amenities to the people. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sanya, Madhi, clear? What do you have to write?
Clear. Done. Done, ma'am.
Okay, everyone is done. Bhati and Sana.
Done, ma'am.
Bhati done. Okay. Now, basically, the first thing was constructions of all-weather roads. So, what Britishers did, you'll just point it out like this first. Okay, coming to infrastructure, first they constructed the all-weather road. All-weather road is basically all seasonal roads. Okay, which are going to long last for all the season. It's not for only rainy season or something like that. It's for all the season. So, road constructed in India prior to advent of British rule were not fit of modern transportation. It was not like that India didn't have any road. Yes, there were roads, but they were not fit for modern transportation. It was basically the kacha roads, or you can say it was non-metal road. But now Britishers constructed all-weather road, means good roads, metal road. Okay. So there also remained an acute shortage of all-weather road to reach out to rural areas during a rainy season. See, the roads were very weak. The roads were non-metal, right? So when there was a rainy season, the condition of roads was like at the worsened state, right? So naturally, therefore, people mostly living in these areas suffered grievously during natural calamities and famines. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So next, the British constructed modern roads in India, which primarily served the purpose of now Britishers constructed roads in India. Okay. Now, what was the benefit of constructing the road? Why they constructed the road? So basically, first there was two benefits: mobilizing the Indian army within India. See, they wanted they, for example, if there is any war or something, they want to mobilize it. Like they wanted to uh, you know, mobilize army. Like for example, if war is going over here, so they wanted Indian army to, you know, Indian people to help them out. So in order to reach that place, you need a good transportation, right? So that's why their first motive is to mobilize the Indians with the, army within India. Okay. Next, drawing out raw materials from countryside to the nearest railway station or the port so that they can send it to England or anywhere. You knew that they were taking raw materials from India. So earlier, for example, if this is India, okay, this is the port. Okay, now here the raw material is available. From here to here, there is no port. How they will take this material from here to there? So that's why they have constructed the road so that they can draw means not draw out, it's like taking out. So taking out raw material from countryside to the nearest railway station or port, because if you want to export material to other foreign countries, then you need port or the railway station, right? So to draw out, or you can say to take out raw material from the countryside to the nearest railway station or the port to send these to far away England or a foreign country. So if they wanted to send this material to other countries, so they needed road, because they want to take this material from this to either to ports or to the railway station. So that's why British are constructed road. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what you will write first, like constructions of all weather road constructed in India prior to advent of like this, just write it down. Roads constructed in India prior to advent of British rule were not fit for modern transport. Okay, till right here, right? Just write it down. Just write first, construction of all weather roads by the Britishers.
Done. Done, mom.
Okay. Madi done? And after that, you'll write the British constructed modern roads in India, which primarily serve the purpose of, okay, first mobilizing the army within India, and second drawing out raw materials. Okay, till here, let me try.
Done, mom. Done.
Okay, Madi, you are done? Yes, no, maybe. Can you hear me? Just write in chat box if you are done. Okay. Now, second thing is what Britishers said, introduction of railways in India. Okay. So the British introduced the railway in India in 1850. You have to remember the date. The Suez Canal, the census, the demographic transition, and this railway. Right. So British introduced the railway in India in 1850, and it considered as one of the most important contributions. Britishers never followed, our economic policies. Britishers followed their economic policy. Britishers never motivated Indian economy. Nothing. But yes, they made few contribution in India. Whatever India is, like whatever the structure or the status of Indian Railway is nowadays or in today's time, it is due to Britishers because Britishers only introduced railway in India, right? So the Britishers introduced railway in India in 1850 and is considered as one of the most important contributions. The railway effect, okay, you are going to write till here and after that you will write hashtag how railway affected the structure of Indian economy, right? So railway affected structure of Indian economy in two ways. First, in good way, second in bad way. Okay. On one hand, it enabled people to undertake long distance travel and thereby break. Just a minute, huh? Yeah, okay. So basically, how railway affected the structure of Indian economy? First, on one hand, it enabled people to undertake long distance travel and thereby break geographical and cultural barriers. So what happened? Of course, if you are staying here and your friend is staying here, the distance is too long. You cannot travel it with the help of road or something like that. So basically, it undertook what happened? Undertook long. Now people can travel long distance. Plus, it broke down the geographical and cultural barrier. Earlier, for example, this is India, this is Australia. So earlier there was something, you can say there was a barrier that according to geographical location, there was a barrier that you cannot travel there because there was no facility. But now because of really, you can, there was no, like it broke down the geographical and cultural barrier. Now people from Indian culture can go to American culture, like all over the world they can travel. So first, it was a positive, right? And second, on the other hand, it forested commercialization of Indian agriculture, which adversely affected the self-sufficiency of village economies in India. So what happened? If you want to construct railway, you need to clear the land, right? So now basically it forested commercialization. Now what happened? This agriculture land was being cleared to construct railway stations, to construct railway track, and forestation was there. Forested commercialization means now forests are being cutted down because in order to construct the railways, you need material, raw material, plus you need to clear out all the forests in order to lay down the railway tracks and all that. So it forested commercialization of agriculture, Indian agriculture, which adversely affected. See, most of the people were dependent on forests and this agriculture field, right? But now, as forests were being cleared, everything was being cleared. So basically, it affected the self-sufficiency. They were only dependent on forests, right? But now, because of this, Britishers was clearing the forest. They were clearing the agriculture and all that. So basically, it affected, right? Clear? So the next thing is first this is the negative point. Next, the volume of Indian export undoubtedly expanded, but its benefits rarely occurred to the people, right? So, see, on second point, you are going to write 2 points. First and second. See, now transport was there, so of course export also increased, right? Earlier I was exporting 4 goods, but now I am exporting 10 because I have the transport facilities, right? So no doubtly export increased, but the social benefit which Indian people gained owing to the introduction of railway were overweight by the country economic loss. So whatever benefit we got, of course export increased, plus the distance and geographical barrier, they all stopped, like broke down, right? But the loss India for like faced, the agriculture loss, the forest loss, everything. So somewhere the loss was overweighted, like loss was more as compared to social benefits. So overall, you can say there was a good point plus the bad point. But Like coming to the conclusion, you have to conclude that social loss was, or you can say economy loss was more as compared to the social benefit. Clear?
Clear.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So now you will write second, introduction of railway. Till here you will write, and after that you will write how railways affected, how railway affected, just a minute. How railway affected, just write it down and I'll just write the question over there. You can write it. How railway affected the structure of Indian economy. Right? Clear? First you are going to write introduction. Second, introduction of Indian Railway. Till here you have to write, and after that you have to write hashtag, and then you have to start from here. Clear? Sania,
Yes,
Halima Madi?
ma'am. Done, ma'am. Done.
Okay, Mahdi, you are also done. Okay. Now the last thing is the development of inland trade, sea lanes, plus you are going to write over here development of inland trade, sea lanes, telegraph, postal services. Okay. So now what happened basically along with the development of roads and railway, Britishers took like some other initiative to develop sea land inland trade. Okay, so first, inland waterways also proven uneconomic as in case of coastal canal on the Orissa coast. Though the canal was built in huge cost of to the government, yet it failed to compete with railway, which has to be unlimited abundant. Now, what happened? Roads and railways, there was like they were benefited India, right? They benefited a lot to India, but coming to inland and sea lanes, they were not so much economical. People used to prefer roads or railway over the inland and outland sea lanes. Okay, and next thing is that Britishers introduced electric telegraph in India. Telegraph, you know, all know, right? Which served the purpose of maintaining. Now, Britishers introduced this in India, but why they introduced it? Because they wanted to maintain law and order. Like if you want to maintain the record, like what is happening, what is not happening, you need some official documentation, right? So for that purpose, Britishers introduced electric telegraph in India. Next, there was postal services like the post offices and all that, like the letters and all that. The postal services, despite serving very useful purpose, see, postal services was very economical, plus they were very useful, but they remain inadequate. Inadequate means they were not sufficient. For example, if I have 100 people over here, so there was only one post office. So it was inadequate. Clear? So what happened basically? Development of inland trade and sea lanes. So along with the development of roads and railways, the Britishers also took measures for developing inland trade and sea lanes. However, these measures were far more satisfactory. Right? Now, first you're going to write, just write the heading. Third, development of inland trade and sea lanes plus telegraph and postal services, right? So first, inland waterways also proven uneconomical. See, they were uneconomical in case of coastal canal in Odisha coast. Though the canal were, see, if I constructed the canal, it costed a huge, like the amount I utilized or amount I used to construct the canal was very high, but still it failed to compete with the railway. So if I'll give you the choice whether you want to go with sea route or the railways, you will definitely choose railway, right? So it failed somewhere, it failed to compete with Indian Railway, which had ultimately abandoned. So at last people just left it. That today also you can see nobody goes through sea route, right? Everybody prefer railway or airways like that, right? And similarly, next, secondly, Britishers introduced telegraph, electric telegraph in India. But why they introduced? Because they wanted to maintain law and order in India. That's why they introduced telegraph. Next, they introduced postal services, and postal services was very useful, but still it remained inadequate. Like it was not sufficient for the population of India. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can write it. Students done?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Halima and Madhi?
Done.
Okay, Madhi done. Write in chat box. Yes, students. So now basically you are going to write few things, which is the sequence. Okay. So this is very much important. From here you are going to learn the direct airs plus the sequence. So first was it is according to the increasing order. Okay. So you will write sequence of events or just write event. So first was introduction of railways in India. So it was in 1850. Then opening of Suez Canal was in 1869. Then various detail about the population, the census and all that, 1881. Then Tisco, if you remember, Tisco, you people remember?
Yes.
Yes, this was basically a modern industry, right? 1907 and second stage of demographic transition after 1921. Okay, so you're going to write it down. Basically, from here only you will be getting. Sometimes in exam hall you get the question. Just arrange them according to chronological order or according to the events that take place. Or you will get the question like when Suez Canal opened, when railways was introduced in India, when Tisco was introduced. So you have to remember years as well as the sequence. So you can write it down. And then we are done with this. In our next class, we'll discuss the question answer. And after that, I'll take your test. Today only, I'll just share you the PDF of the question answer, which I have already shared. You have seen that PDF, which I shared it for 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. IST batch, but I'll resend it again today itself. You have 2 days to read they just go through the question answers. Okay, just do not have to write it. In the next class, whatever, if you have any doubt in any question, just mark it up so that we can discuss. And after that, on that day, I will take your Viva also. Okay, that will be five questions for each of you. So be ready for that. Viva will be one word questions, obviously, and something it can be like this when Swiss Canal open. So you have to. And after that, we will I will take your subjective test. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay, you can write it down.
I'm done.
Okay. Others?
Done.
Oh. So I hope you people are done and this chapter is clear. Both the girls and Madhi.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I hope you have a see. Main focus is like if I share the PDF of the question paper, sorry, question and answer, you don't have to mug up the answers. You just have to stick to your content, like whatever content you have, like whatever notes you have to stick it to that only. You have to learn the notes. You don't have to learn the question answer because in exam hall you won't be getting these questions. Okay, they can ask you anything. So you have to learn notes. You just have to check how the questions they are asking. What are the question? What is the language they are asking? Because they won't be asking you direct question, right? Importance of this or what was it in India's demographic like demographic structure. No, they will be asking you questions in their own language, and you have to find it out what they are asking. So that's why I'm sharing you the PDF so that you can go through the question and answer how they answer questions and all that. And just prepare for your Viva. Viva will be basically I'll be asking 5 questions like from each of you. Clear? It can be numerical like what was the like India was in first demographic transition stage, like before which year. It can be like that, and it can be anything. So we'll prepare for